this evening. First, Ghana is making significant strides to become the region's top food exporter by launching the construction of a $625 million regional food hub along the Sault Ste. Linden Highway. Find out how this project will transform the agricultural sector and boost economic opportunities. Stay tuned for further details on this ambitious initiative. Next, a daring attempt to smuggle a phone into Timehri Prison has been foiled. We'll bring you the latest on the arrest of Adrian Brathwaite and the prison's service commitment to cracking down on contraband. Don't miss this full story. In other news, over 400 residents from various communities received their land titles in a ceremony led by President Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali. Learn how this move is set to enhance community development and what additional support the government is offering to new landowners. More on this uplifting development coming up. Also, a minor has been remanded to prison for allegedly assaulting a businesswoman at Isanu Landing. We'll provide you with the latest updates on the case and the condition of the victim, who is recovering from a serious injury. Stay with us for more on this troubling incident. And finally, in international news, the UN's World Food Programme has managed to deliver much-needed food and medicine to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, despite the challenges posed by armed groups. We have the details on how these supplies are helping those in dire need amid widespread violence and hunger. All this and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for June 4th, 2024. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Ghana is making strides to become the top food exporter in the region by starting construction on a regional food hub along the Sault Ste. Linden Highway. The project, costing over $625 million, is in its second phase after beginning in 2023 with an initial $187 million investment. The Ministry of Agriculture has allocated $14 million for the food complex. This hub will manage food product collection, distribution, and marketing primarily from Roraima, Brazil. It aims to establish Ghana as a critical trade and logistics center for the Caribbean and South America. Once completed, the hub will offer essential services like cleaning, sorting, packaging, and storing food in temperature-controlled units to maintain quality. By using Ghana's port, the project is expected to boost revenue, create jobs in rural areas, and lower Roraima shipping costs. The food hub will also help reduce CARICOM's food import bill by 25% by 2025. The government is currently seeking bids for the project's construction, with proposals due by June 27 to the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board in Georgetown. On a different note, Adrian Brathwaite, a man from Friendship, East Bank Demerara, was apprehended on a grave charge on Monday, June 3, 2024. His crime? An audacious attempt to smuggle a phone cunningly concealed in a powder container into the Timehri prison. According to a report from the Ghana Prison Service, Brathwaite visited the prison around 2 p.m. on Monday to drop off personal items for Shalisa Elise, a female prisoner. However, in a testament to the unwavering vigilance of the prison staff, the phone was swiftly discovered during a routine check at the self-support area. Brathwaite, who is cooperating with investigators, will likely be charged soon. According to a statement from the prison service, this incident highlights the commitment and alertness of the prison staff on duty. Nicolon Elliott, the director of prisons, issued a recent warning threatening to prosecute the general public and prison staff who are caught attempting to smuggle illegal goods into prisons. Elliott pointed out that members of the public had undertaken efforts to sneak contraband into prisons on many occasions, despite heightened monitoring and surveillance at all sites. He made it clear that corrupt officials, as well as friends and relatives of prisoners, would not be given a second chance at breaking the law. Moving on Monday, over 400 residents from Base Road Timehri, Swanturn, Kurukururu, and nearby areas received their land titles. President Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali and Minister Kwame McCoy distributed the titles during a ceremony formalizing the ownership and boosting community development. President Ali acknowledged the challenges in regularizing the communities along the Sault Ste. Highway due to varied land uses, including residential, farming, mining, and tourism. The president announced additional support, including subsidy for steel and cement and assistance with wood for building homes. Next week, Minister McCoy will return with representatives from the Ministry of Housing and Water and several banks to help residents secure loans. With about 2,300 squatters living along the Soos-Dike-Timehri stretch, President Ali reaffirmed the government's commitment to legalize their land ownership. While not all the settlements can be regularized, alternative solutions like housing options in government-developed schemes will be offered. The Ministry of Housing is developing 1,600 house lots at Harouni, Soos-Dike, complete with schools, water, and roads. President Ali, in his address, highlighted the area's potential, mentioning that mega projects like Silica City are not only attracting more people, but also significantly boosting economic opportunities. In the past 3 years, the government has received over 15,000 land applications for the highway area. The president emphasized infrastructure plans, including extending the 4-lane Mandela Highway to the land of Canaan and eventually to the Soos-Dike-Linden Highway, unlocking more land for development. Stick around when we return. Amerindian villages see progress with $4.7 billion in carbon credits, and minor remanded for allegedly assaulting businesswoman. Victims still recovering.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Fellow TikToker followers, here's credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poise cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she probably buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with the Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. A minor was remanded to prison on Friday for allegedly beating a businesswoman unconscious on April 24, 2024. The defendant, Ryan Smith, appeared virtually at the Bartica Magistrates Court for a second hearing, but was remanded until next month. The victim, 51-year-old Holly Munderson, owns a business at Isando Landing. On the day of the incident, Smith visited her shop to make a purchase. Munderson briefly stepped out, leaving Smith alone to browse. Upon returning, she completed the sale but later noticed $10,000 missing from her purse. Suspecting Smith, Munderson confronted him, leading to an argument. Later that evening, Smith allegedly returned to her shop with a piece of wood. Reports stated that Munderson was asleep in her hammock when Smith attacked her, leaving her unconscious. She was discovered the next day by customers and taken to the health center, then to Bartica Hospital, where she is still recovering from a fractured skull. Smith was subsequently apprehended and charged with the assault. In other news, Guyana's Amerindian riverine and remote villages are executing 811 projects across 242 communities with $4.7 billion from carbon credits under the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030. These projects cover tourism, agriculture, infrastructure, arts and crafts, and income-generating ventures aimed at sustainable livelihoods. Vice President Dr. Bart Jagdeo expressed satisfaction with the progress. The upcoming National Tishao Council Conference will discuss the additional $2.7 billion in carbon credit funds for these villages. A $8 million sawmill in Koro Village, funded by carbon credit, provides jobs. The LCDS was initially developed by former President Jagdeo and expanded by the current administration. Guyana has a deal with Hess Corporation to sell 30% of its forest carbon over 10 years. 15% of LCDS funds go directly to Amerindian villages, and the rest to climate resilience and adaptation. Additional funds come from government investments in essential services and the Amerindian Development Fund. Don't go away after the break. Spanish farmers protest, demonstrators condemn EU policies, and South Korea suspends key military deal with Pyongyang amid balloon spat.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringbang, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome to Fortune Investment Company, your #1 eco-friendly cleaning and janitorial company in Guyana. At Fortune Investment Company, we specialize in commercial and residential cleaning. Whether it's your home or office, our experienced team is detail-focused and take pride in providing excellent services to make your spaces sparkle. Restaurants and kitchen cleaning? Aren't you tired of hearing your chef complain? Keep your culinary spaces spotless and hygienic with our dedicated maintenance services. Floor scrubbing and polishing? Elevate the look of your home or business. Give your floors a new lease on life with our professional scrubbing and polishing. But that's not all. We also offer power washing and steam cleaning. Say goodbye to dirt and moss. Our power washing services will leave your surfaces looking brand new. Revitalize your carpets, mattresses, and chairs with our thorough steam cleaning services. When you want someone to clean your space with care and without the unhealthy chemicals, you want Fortune Investment Company. Call us now at 646-0405 or 689-7558 or 639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jacksonville Housing Scheme, North Rumville, to schedule your cleaning and janitorial services. Visit our business pages at Fortune Investment Company to learn more about our services and promotion. Fortune Investment Company, where cleanliness meets perfection, because a clean space is a happy space. And remember, we do the dirty works while you stay clean.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, expressed optimism about Jamaica transitioning from a constitutional monarchy to a republic, despite slower progress than anticipated due to lack of opposition support. Speaking at the Jamaica Civil Service Association's 150th annual meeting, Holness emphasized the government's commitment to constitutional reform, especially as Jamaica marks 60 years of independence. He highlighted other key nation-building projects, including improvements in infrastructure, healthcare, education, national security, and housing, aimed at laying a foundation for the next 50 to 100 years. Holness stressed the importance of long-term planning over short-term political gains. A report from the Constitutional Reform Committee was recently presented to Parliament. Food and medicine from the UN's World Food Programme have finally reached Port-au-Prince. The airport has reopened, allowing supplies to be distributed despite armed groups controlling the roads and port. The UN has delivered over 600 tons of food to over 90,000 people in Cité Soleil, but more is needed. Haiti faces widespread violence and acute hunger, with nearly half the population affected. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
Food and medicine from the UN's World Food Programme is finally reaching the Haitian capital. Port-au-Prince's airport, shut down since March, has been reopened, allowing supplies to be distributed across the city.
The roads in and out of Port-au-Prince are controlled by armed groups. The port has been closed for a long time and was looted, and the airport was closed. So effectively, Port-au-Prince for the past few months has been an island. So it's really important for WFP and other humanitarians to be able to bring supplies into the city to run essential programs.
People in Cité Soleil, the city's biggest slum, were facing catastrophic levels of hunger. But the UN's food agency says that it's been able to deliver more than 600 tons of rice, beans and vegetable oil to more than 90,000 in the past month. But that might not be enough. Eugénie Pierre-Charles is 70 years old and says her vegetable stall was destroyed during the violence.
Sometimes I'm very hungry, so I ask people for a bite, but they humiliate me. I've never had to beg. I always manage to run my business. It really hurts. I had my work before, but the gangs forced me out.
Haiti has been gripped by violence since February, when armed gangs launched a campaign to remove then Prime Minister Ariel Henry. About 5 million Haitians, or nearly half of the population, face acute hunger. 1.5 million are on the verge of starvation.
The Haitian people, right now, they're hungry, they're desperate. They're going to take the food aid. They're going to take, whatever security can be provided, but it doesn't solve the underlying problem of the hunger, desperation, and lack of services that the people suffer under.
Gary Conil, a long-time UN development expert who was recently appointed the country's new prime minister, arrived in Haiti on Saturday. He faces a monumental task in a country that remains on the brink of total disaster. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, elections for European Parliament are set for early June, and one of the key issues at the ballot box is sure to be agricultural policy. It comes after a year that's seen many of Europe's 6 million farmers out protesting. They've said they're deeply unhappy with market prices and working conditions, and they're blaming the EU's common agricultural policy. Al Jazeera's Sonia Gallego reports.
Standstill at the frontier as farmers from Spain and France united to shut down the border between the two countries, a sign of the anger and frustration at the European Union over the bloc's environmental policies, competition from cheaper imports from outside Europe, and what they say is a lack of help from those in drought-hit regions.
This used to be full of hazelnut trees, but we had to burn them because everything dried up. If we ever get enough water again, I'll replant, but we can't compete with countries like Turkey, where the wages are much lower.
And it is those imports, they say, that undercut local produce, leaving many wondering if they're able to continue.
Years go by, costs keep rising. If I had to start from scratch again, I wouldn't be able to. I'd have to leave.
For many, those costs are already proving too high, and given the ongoing drought in parts of the country, have preferred to use their land for solar farms instead of food. For months, farmers have been vocal about the challenges they're facing. And in the run-up to the European Parliament elections, they're warning the European Union that if its leaders don't do something to address the issues, it'll be a blow to Europe's food security. And it's that inability to guarantee food security that worries farming unions, as well as its environmental regulations.
Desde la Comunidad Europea se toman una serie de medidas.
The EU needs to guarantee its own food security. We can't depend on third-party countries for that. We have to protect our own sector before helping others, such as Ukraine, and make sure they have the same standards.
A concern shared by farmers from countries across the bloc. They say they will keep up their protests until a satisfactory solution is reached. The question at this election will be if their anxieties will be heard and acted upon by leaders in Brussels. Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera.
Finally, South Korea has suspended the inter-Korean military agreement with North Korea amid heightened tension on the peninsula. Relations worsened after Pyongyang released hundreds of balloons in South Korea filled with garbage, saying it was in response to propaganda balloons released from its southern neighbors. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
The inter-Korean military agreement dates back to friendlier times on the Korean peninsula. It was signed at the height of summit diplomacy in 2018 on a landmark visit to North Korea by the former South Korean president.
We lived together for 5,000 years and have been separated for 70 years. I propose today to completely end the 70-year hostility.
The two sides promised to de-escalate tensions on their shared border by limiting military activity close to it. But as North Korea resumed its missile tests, South Korea has responded with shows of force. And the release of hundreds of trash-filled balloons by the North in the past week marks a further decline. 6 years on, with relations having steadily deteriorated, it seems the balloon launches were too much for South Korea. But in reality, the inter-Korean military agreement was virtually defunct in any case. North Korea had resumed artillery drills close to the border and put back in place guard posts and landmines in violation of the agreement.
Almost all, 90% of military agreement already been violated. So just keeping it in place does not mean anything.
And South Korea has not ruled out resuming the highly effective practice of broadcasting propaganda by loudspeakers across the border, a major escalation that would further anger the North. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to B2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.